on, and anytime you're ready, you can start.
Hi, this is Michael Kearns, and this is Michael Mentors number 10. It's shocking to realize that HIV/AIDS has been with us for 40 years. In preparing for my appearance at the Lineage Performing Arts Center, celebrating this anniversary, I was asked to contribute to a visual artistic endeavor that required me to find some photographs of people I've lost. They will be displayed as you walk into the theater, and I hope you will. I was also asked to write a story about them. John. I carried my dying friend in my arms, virtually running across the front lawn, lit by red flashing lights, because waiting for the paramedics to perform their ritualistic dance would take too long. Time was critical. I was a teenager when I met John in our shared hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. He was in college. I was in high school. He had an encyclopedic knowledge of literature naturally, but also innumerable other subjects, some obscure, some practical. When I would study a new script, I'd mark the words I wasn't certain of, and sometimes historical references that I couldn't grasp, and then call John. He would patiently go over every syllable of every word and also feed my lacking historical acumen. Our deep friendship led to some sexual gymnastics. The first time was in the back seat of a VW Bug. Paul. Barely audible, he announced to his nurse, "You wouldn't believe how hard he worked to get that baby." Sitting at his bedside, holding my 6-month-old in my arms, I try to convince my friend that he can let go. "Paul," I whisper, "you are a hero. There are so many of us who have been made better and fuller because of knowing you. Reading your work is forever. Your impact is boundless." He reaches out his hand, and I hold it, and then replace my hand with my daughter's. Life and death meet. David. We went to the mall to buy an appropriate pair of shoes to wear to his husband's memorial. Giddy with grief, window shopping in front of a woman's clothing store, we began what would become a game until he died, pointing out a dress we'd like to wear. Our drag fantasy became a secret language that we could speak anywhere we went. We had bought the same shoes to wear to the memorial. David was the most generous acting partner I ever had. He died wearing an oversized diaper. James. He took my acting class for a lark, and he was not good. "You are too smart to be an actor. I see your brain working." That's what I loved about James, that working brain. I fell in love with his words reading a play that he wrote, and it broke my heart. But over the decade, we were artistic partners. I delved into every nook and cranny of his being, inside and out. Everyone assumed we were lovers. Many said I was his muse. He was my everything. Philip. By the time we exchanged vows in a ceremony for our nearest and dearest, Philip had begun to shrink. Everything was caving in on him, including, because of age dementia, his sharp mind and delicious wit. A dedicated Francophile, we had traveled to Paris first, then subsequently took trips to Dusseldorf, London, Bruges, and Egypt. Part tour guide and part arts teacher, Philip was my most mature relationship. Perhaps ironically enriched by the ongoing threat of death. His parents refused to attend our wedding for religious reasons, but they showed up at his deathbed. I tried, but I was not polite. Victor. He was barely recognizable, playing a horse in Equus, but I spotted him in the aisle next to my seat, and I felt his heat even though the elaborate metallic horse head was designed to obscure his movie star handsome face. I fantasized what it would be like to horse around with J. Victor Lopez. I found out. If there are one or two in a lifetime that you can describe as having been madly in love with, you are lucky. One day, after making love for hours, we walked outside and he took in the expansive sky. For purple mountains' majesty, he said. He had been born in Cuba and came to Los Angeles. During the months before his death, I spent Wednesday nights with him, assisting his mother, think Rita Moreno, and learning to be selfless. He was barely recognizable. Eric. I met him at an audition for a commercial about AIDS, where only real dudes with HIV, actors and non-actors, were being seen. With his chiseled features and gym bod, Eric certainly looked like an actor. I cruised him heavily, but his response was tepid. I scrawled my name and number on a piece of paper and boldly slipped it to him anyway. He smiled. Sorta. 2 nights later, he called and we began dating, even after I told him that I had a 2-year-old daughter. Eric split his time beneath our apartment in Los Feliz and his parents' mansion in Santa Barbara. He spent his final days there confined to a hospital bed situated in their living room. During my last visit, 2 days before he died, he ordered everyone out of the room so I could climb in bed with him for one last lavish kiss.